There's a ton of investing advice out there on the internet, and as a real estate investor who now travels the world with our passive investments, I'm here to see if these tips are legit or if they're just hot garbage. Let's check them out.
You need to start borrowing from the bank immediately, even if you don't need the fucking money. I got millions of dollars in lines of credit. I asked for
Okay, I'm not sure if this is a troll video or not, but this guy looks super flashy and I honestly hate these type of people. So let's keep watching.
more money now. I'll give you an example. I walked into Citizens Bank in Baton Rouge. I told my banker, I said, listen, I'll write you a check for $1 million if you give me $500,000 in lines of credit. Boom.
I give you $1 million if you give me $500,000 in lines of credit. Boom. I feel like a bank would not just give you this kind of money without actual due diligence and seeing if he has the means or the funds to do this, right? You can't be walking into a bank with no prior background or experience and say this line and expect to get $500,000.
He gave me that money. I just recently put that money in a land deal. 6 months, I'm gonna make $103,000. $500,000 of that money is not my money.
And I think that's possible, but it's interesting how he says it this way. Because I think for most lenders, they will not lend on land for one, unless they are specifically like a land lender. So maybe he's pulling equity from other assets that he already has. So again, it's something that he's not exactly telling you that's truthful here.
The thing you can do, if you are in the business and somebody gives you a contract, you can take the contract into the bank and say, listen, I need a line of credit against this contract. They'll give you the money, bro.
So this is true. I think if you have a business contract that kind of guarantees that you'll be making a certain amount of sales, then it's just like any other asset. You can like sell it or like use it as collateral for something else. You know, I guess at the end of the day, he's just trying to give you an example of what's possible out there. But in reality, you do need to have an actual business to actually use any of these tips. Again, I really dislike this kind of like fashion and bravado, smoking a cigar, different like power suits and stuff, fancy watches. It gives me the vibe of like fake guru. So I don't know, like yes, half true, but practically, probably not for beginners.
Like with the dividend stock, dividends is for rich people or high middle class, but it ain't for the broke. Cause you gotta buy the share and then you only gonna get 50 cents, 20 cents, 15 cents, depending on which stock you buy.
Okay, so what he's talking about is dividends. So when a company makes money, make profit, and they are a company that offers dividends, that means a portion of the profit they get will be dispersed amongst the business owners. So these are typically going to be companies that don't reinvest their profits into growth. So if you're more of a tech company like Facebook or Google or a startup company, they typically want to take all their profits and put it back into development, back into hiring more people. But if you're a more established business where there's not really much room to grow per se, then you attract your shareholders by offering them a dividend. So some very famous ones are like Coca-Cola, AT&T, and even Apple.
For sure. Now it could be either monthly or quarterly. With all that, I learned to diversify myself in all things you can understand, not things you can't. The reason why I'm not heavy in real estate because I don't understand it. You seen that house? I bought that for $600. I sold it for $9 just to get rid of it. I know if I would have held it for a few more years, it'd probably be at $1 million. But what type of am I to wait for $100 grand? I'm not.
So it's very interesting. He doesn't like real estate because maybe it takes too long. And also his type of real estate investing is more like, you know, you're buying a house for $600,000, holding it, and then selling it for $900,000 after it appreciates. For us, we like buying real estate because it gives us passive income. The appreciation is more like a cherry on top. So when I buy it from day one, I'm expecting a positive return. The rents I get from the property should pay for its mortgage, property taxes, insurance, property managers, maintenance fees, and then still give me some passive income on top. But yeah, real estate in general is not like a get rich quick type thing. And this guy is also one type to wear a fat gold chain, have diamond jewelry, and again, it's probably all about the flashy lifestyle.
Not finna wait 3 years for no $100.
I don't even want that on a t-shirt. I want that on a coat, whole winter coat. That shit.
I guess what I really appreciate about his comments is that he doesn't invest in what he doesn't understand. So he tries to stay in his lane and not go too diversified. Because when you do that and you invest in things you don't understand, then it's very easy to get wiped out. So maybe the big lesson here is learn one method of investing that really jives with you and your personality, and then focus on that. Also, when it comes to dividend stock investing, you do also get the benefit of appreciation from the stock itself. So still is worth looking into. And if you're trying to invest in stocks, you should definitely check out Webull. Webull is a free to use brokerage which allows you to buy and sell stocks without paying any fees, and they'll even give you free stocks if you sign up with the link down below.
I'm PB, 15-year-old day trader, and I made over $20,000 in a single week and over $12,000 in a single day.
This sounds like high-risk gambling, so I think it's very interesting when I see younger people who talk about day trading as if it's like a guaranteed method. I think it's very hard to be consistent with day trading, just like gambling and beginner's luck. You can get very, very lucky, but the way that you invest is probably not a good long-term strategy.
Here are the key pillars to my trading system. First things first, everyone says buy low, sell high. I don't do that. Instead, I like to buy high and sell higher. Because
When that happens, you probably buy high and then sell low, and then you lose all your money. Especially if you leverage it with options trading and you just make a lot of risky plays. Also, sometimes people tilt, right? Like they do really well one session and then they lose it all. And so they invest more money so they can catch up to their old losses and they end up losing more and more and more. So be very, very careful when it comes to trading and high leverage investing.
what's the point of running in front of a moving train? Instead, I'd rather ride the trend.
But also when you ride the trend, how do you know when to get off? So it is very risky to do it like this.
Number 2, instead of jumping into a ton of different trades, I like to take less trades and focus on higher quality setups. So I only take a few A+ setups and I'm done.
How does he know which trades are the A+ ones? Because at the end of the day, you still are trading one stock at a time. So again, very interesting here.
Trades equals less stress, which equals more money for me. Number 3, I'm very strict and disciplined on myself. Trading is a game of discipline, taking money from the gamblers.
I feel like everyone I've talked to who is an investor in some way, shape, or form always says that they are very, very conservative. It doesn't matter if they're day traders, real estate investors, flippers investors, crypto investors, NFT traders. They always say that they're hyper conservative, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure they're not. So yeah, again, interesting to hear this from them.
If you can have a stop loss set and trade like a robot with little to no emotions, then you will succeed.
If you can trade like a robot, then why not just be a robot? There are robot traders out there that will probably outperform you. So what makes you think that you can do better than a robot?
There's honestly so much more in becoming a successful trader. My goal is to make it difficult simple through my unique way of teaching and education through my young age.
So this guy actually makes a lot of money through selling his course and Discord servers. Okay, next guy.
I'm not saving my money in bank accounts. You see, I'm parking my money into treasury bills. I'm parking my money into rental real estate where I know I can go get that in the form of a HELOC.
Okay, so treasury bills are a form of bond that's guaranteed by the US Treasury. So these are basically guaranteed interest rates. And this is something that very wealthy people do. He's also investing in real estate because they give him passive income. And the equity in those assets can be pulled out through a cash out refinance or a HELOC, also known as a home equity line of credit. Although nowadays, it is very difficult to get a HELOC on investment properties, and doing a cash out refinance in these interest rates is probably not the best idea. So even we have a lot of equity trapped in our properties because we don't want to do a refinance with these high interest rates.
Cash out refinance. I have high yield savings accounts. Hell, I even have CDs. But
A high yield savings account is a bank that gives you really high interest rates. And right now, rates are around 4.6%. So if you have $1,000 and you do absolutely nothing but keep your money in the account, then you'll be making $46. It's actually pretty nice. And instead of investing it and risk losing it, you can just put it there knowing that it's safe and sound. So a high yield savings account is great for things that you know you have to buy soon, such as a down payment for a house or a kid's education. You know this is money that can't be touched and cannot be lost. So you might as well put it into a high yield savings account and start making that money. And if you guys want a link to some of my favorite high yield savings accounts, then be sure to check out the link in my description as well.
the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my money in the bank account earning 0.0000001. I would rather earn 5, 10, sometimes even 15% on that money. And by parking it into CDs, T-bills, and real estate, I can leverage the money that I'm earning by just loaning out that money to the right places.
So I agree with him for the most part. It is better to do it this way to min-max your money. However, at a certain point, it is okay, I think, to keep some money in your checking account because it makes your life a lot easier and you'll be able to pay your bills faster without having to worry that you might overdraft on a checking account here or there.
This is how wealthy people keep their money parked in the right type of places as they grow their wealth.
True. So you don't need too much money in checking, but you should probably have maybe 1 or 2 months worth of expenses just so that you know that your mortgage is being paid, your utility bills are being paid, your credit card is being paid without overdrafting.
There is no super fast get rich overnight type of way to get rich aside from hitting the lottery. But what you can do that is actually gonna be the fastest is gonna be 3 steps. The first one is you need to make a lot of money. You need to get a high paying job if you can, or
I agree. I think that to start, it is very nice to have a high paying job. That way you have a basis for investing. You're not trying to invest with just the 2 cents you have in your pocket. Ideally, you get a job that does not require a lot of your time. That way you can work on side hustles on top of your job and eventually replace your full-time job with the business that you have. So like an example, I think engineering is a great one, like coding, because you can work on your coding and then once you're at home, you're done. Whereas like a bad example is maybe being a lawyer or a doctor, because that requires many years of studying to get into a position where you're going to be spending 60, 80 hours at work, leaving you with no energy for any side hustles and tens of thousands of dollars of student debt that you can't just walk away from.
a highly paid skill. That could be computer programmer, it could be a copywriter, or somewhere in sales that pays a lot of money. The second
A good sales position that a lot of people do is actually being a real estate investor, because most real estate investors make 2.5 to 3% of the sale of the home. So if you're selling $1 million homes, that's $30,000 for every home that you sell. So it's quite lucrative.
Second step is that you're gonna take some of that money that you're making, and while you're making money, you're gonna build up a business. You can build a business that makes $5,000, $2,000 a month pretty easily, just a couple of years worth of time.
So again, I agree with this. I think you take the money you have and invest it in your own business. Now, what I learned when I was really young is that money in a business is a tool, and it can be used as a scalpel, meaning you use very little amount of money to do very precise things, or you can use it like a bulldozer. Bulldozer obviously meaning take a bunch of money and just throw it at things. Now again, I think with the bulldozer method, it's nice because you can go a little bit faster, but you're also wasting a lot of money. While the scalpel method takes more time, but you're more precise with where the money goes.
The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna invest in real estate.
I love investing in real estate because you buy a property, it gives you positive cash flow, and the equity builds over time, your net worth increases, and you don't have to do much. It's also a very simple business that is not really luck-based, whereas I think a lot of actual businesses do take a big component of luck. So even though you do the right things, your product may succeed or fail due to the conditions of the market or your connections, whereas with real estate, it's a house. And as long as you're marketing the property well, you're maintaining it properly as well, then you should be fine.
Simple 30-year fixed loans, and that is gonna get you huge returns.
I think a very important thing here is he's saying 30-year fixed loans. So some people were being greedy in the year 2018. They wanted the 0.25% difference in interest rate by getting an adjustable mortgage. But 5 years later, when rates increased, now their mortgage have jumped from 2.65% all the way up to 6.5%. So it's a huge difference in interest, and they're making huge payments because of it. Whereas if you have a 30-year fixed loan, then you don't have to worry about your payments at all.
If you do that, that is gonna compound your wealth very fastly, increase your net worth, and then from there, you can have cash flow.
So yeah, I agree with his points for the most part. Get a high-paying job, start investing it, create a side hustle, invest in real estate when you can. So those were all pretty interesting videos about investing. I think the ones about trading and the ones where people are more flashy are, man, generally people that I don't vibe with, and I probably wouldn't listen to them because I feel like these people are like a flash in the pan. You know, they're gonna show you the nice cars, they're gonna show you the power suits, but they're not gonna be there that long. Like, I can tell that maybe they're making money temporarily and then they're spending all that money to look flashy, therefore having less money to invest in more things. Try to find more down-to-earth people that you vibe with, follow their advice. And let me know what you guys think about these videos down in the comments below. I really want to hear your thoughts if you agree with me or disagree. And if you guys want to find some truly great investing videos where you're going to learn how to become financially free, then check out some of my most popular short form videos right over here. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Take care.